My father, during World War II, a picture of him here. As you can see, on a motorbike, he was a dispatch rider during the war. Very dangerous job. Life expectancy wasn't very long, so he did quite well getting through the war and surviving. Another picture here of my mum and dad on the wedding day, probably a few weeks before he left. Hope that isn't too much glare on that. And a picture of my mum in the days as when she was in service. I know today probably that has a different meaning, but in them days it was being a maid. Probably some hotel or grand house. Right, let's turn it round. Good afternoon. It's Monday the 25th of August 2014, about 12:30 in the afternoon. I'm doing an update I posted a video a couple of days ago, and I've had a couple of comments back, so I thought to answer them. Some have been sent private, some actual response. One was actually a response to the video. A couple of the private ones thought I were a bit hard on my father when I said, he was a bit of a miser. I'd just like to clarify that point. I loved my father, I respected my father, and since passing away, we've found out a lot about his time in the army during the World War II, and it's quite shocked us and quite surprised us what he went through. As says World War II, you can imagine I was a late baby, 1965. My parents were born 1920. So it may seem about harsh, but I know it was a different generation then, a different set of values, and that's how it was. It was just a case that until my mother died, it was my mother that was the main influence in my life. My father, he was there, but never seemed to take an active role, if you like. It's nothing bad, nothing said, that's just how it was. Like I says, he went to work, gave my mum the housekeeping, and my mum looked after the house, did the shopping, etc. That's how that generation lived. I mean, it's quite funny. After my mother died, we stayed at my sister's for a week or so. Eventually my dad made a decision, it's about time. We went home. Took him shopping. 58, my dad had never ever been food shopping. Bought his clothes, own clothes. He smoked, bought his own cigarettes. But never been food shopping. So my sister took him food shopping. Right. First thing, want some bread. Picked up some bread. How much for a loaf? Well, you want some milk. I didn't realise it cost that much. Potatoes. Nah, they must be priced wrong. They can never be that price. My dad had no idea. Then it was pointed out to him, 13-year-old lad, soon be growing up. Growth spurts, school uniforms, replacing trousers probably 2-3 times a year. My dad got a very big shock. He did actually turn around and say, I didn't realise things cost this much, and the housekeeping. So yeah, I say my dad was a bit of a miser, skinflint, but it was just the way they were brought up. It was just that generation. I mean, the funniest thing is, my dad used to go out playing cards and dominoes at the local pub. Played a game of cribbage. For those who don't know how cribbage works, look on the internet. Just put cribbage, cribbage. It'll tell you about the game. And he used to come home. He used to sit stand in front of the fire. We used to have open fire then because he used to be a miner. He used to reach in his pockets, look at his money, count up and go, "Hey, somebody's done me out of a penny." Could always work it out. Don't matter how tipsy he was, could always work it out. That says, loved my dad, respected my dad. It's the way it was. We all laugh and joke about it now in the family, but that's how it is. My mum, I says, God bless her, she said, my lads aren't going to be brought up that way, and the situation changed. It was a total different situation. So that clarifies that up. I did love my dad, I respected my dad. It's just the way he was. It was the way the generation was. Things have changed now. That's how it is. One of the comments about being sad about relationships with my brothers. Yes, it is sad. But that's how it is. To give you some background, my older brother, he moved to Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. When I was younger, 4 or 5, I can just remember him going. When I think it was when this trouble started in Rhodesia, he moved to South Africa. Very good job, diamond mine. He worked his way up to like a foreman, supervisor, however you want to put it. Earning a lot of money. While he crossed there, he got married. And we kept in well contact with them. Anyway, they decided to come over visit. He decided to bring his new wife home to visit with the family. So I know my mum spent ages getting the house ready, redecorated the front room, dining room, bedroom, bought a new bed for them, mattress, pillows and linen, and it was a madhouse for about 3-4 months. My mum literally worked her fingers to the bone. Anyway, they came over, and as I sort of gathered, it was at least they arrived 2 days earlier than they said. Well, you can imagine the state of the house. Wasn't untidy, but my mum was doing things like washing, trying to get the ironing done. Mum cooked, baked. She was always baking, always cooking wedding cakes for people, birthday cakes for people. She didn't do it for free. She made money on it, but not compared to some of the big shops. But so you can imagine. The idea was we were going to tidy the house out the day before they came. They came early. The first shock was, to my mum, is that they decided to book into a hotel, even though they knew we're getting a room ready for them. Caused a bit of argument, as you can guess. His new wife, who we'd only met for about half an hour, 3/4 an hour, decided to mention something. "Oh, I would have thought your mum would have tidied up." To say I was ushered out the room, go outside and play, would be an understatement. The row went off, from what I've been told by my sister, was because it was basically my sister that dealt with it. It was, you've arrived early, what do you expect if you don't let us know? Which his new wife decided to say, "Well, our house is so clean, we can eat off the floor." She got two responses to that. The first one being, well, we're civilised in England, we eat off plates on a table. And the second comment was, there's the door, get through it, don't bother coming back. So that caused friction in the family for a start off. When my mum died, they came for the funeral. Must have made it very expensive, travelling from South Africa to here for the funeral. But she did cause some arguments at the funeral, wanting to ride in the main car, which we were told quite plainly that was for my dad and for the immediate relatives, the children, the brothers, etc. When it came to my dad's funeral, my dad passed away. We got in touch with him and they said they would come over. They said they couldn't make it, couldn't afford it. Fair enough. Until we found out a couple of weeks later they were doing around the Europe vacation. That was the end of it. Can afford to go around Europe, but can't afford to come to the father's funeral. So that relationship basically stopped there. My other brother, we're never close to him. We got along all right with his brothers, but not really close. He joined the army when I was 10, 11, something like that. Might have been before that, might have been 9. But I always thought it strange when he came home, he thought he could walk back into his position, which I had to accept when I was younger. But as I got older, I started putting my foot down. No, you don't live here. So it caused some arguments. After my mother died, there was... I don't want to make it sound like he stole stuff, but stuff was removed from the house with my dad's permission. Stuff that had been left to me and my sister by my mum. Again, caused arguments and friction. My dad died when I was 23. He basically developed cancer, with him working all his life down the pits, bone trouble, chest trouble. He ended up a very ill person. And he passed away. And basically we found out what basically happened. He got fluid on his lungs. Part of that trouble was he never use his inhaler, hated using his inhaler. He was supposed to use it 2 or 3 times a day, didn't use it. So he got a chest infection, got worse, lungs filled with liquid, pressed on his heart, caused his death. I was the one that found him. I had to deal with the hospital, ambulance. Because at that time he was still alive, but he was breathing. My brother, my wonderful brother, decided on the day of the funeral to turn around and say, well, if our Tony had looked after him better, he'd probably still be alive now. In other words, basically my fault. No trouble was caused that day, but I know the following day my sister let rip at him. Basically told him straight, you don't live here. It's our Tony that's cleaned this sick up. It's Tony that's cleaned him up. It's Tony that's looked after him. What right have you to say that? How nasty and evil. All you do is come and visit once a year, if that. I think you better keep your gob shut. After that I didn't see him until my sister got remarried. The tension at the reception was a bit strange. I stayed at one side of the room, he stayed at the other. We did chat a bit, but it was basically, how are you? Nice weather, nice wedding, don't tire my sister look. That was it. What you would call polite chat. That's basically why I don't have anything to do with my brothers. It's a shame, but it's one of them things. I just wanted to basically talk about that and clarify the positions and stuff like that. Now, on a private comment, I had a nice young lady contact me, basically saying, "Oh, it's a pity you're single. If you ever want to get in touch, give me a shout. You know, if you're after a relationship, you look a nice gentleman. Blah, blah, blah." How can I put it? It's the only way I can put it, if this thing ever loads up, is to give you a quote from one of my favourite TV programmes. And it's not going to load up, because I would like to get this quote correctly. No, it's not going to load up. I'm gay. Always been gay. Not bisexual. I'm gay. I think the quote goes something like, I'm gay, I'm a puff, I'm a ponce, I'm a pufter, I'm a shirt lifter, I suck, and I'm sucked, blah, 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 blah. It's from the Queer as Folks TV series. I'm not in a relationship. I think part of the problem is I've been on my own for too long. I do have friends, very close friends. Should we say friends, some friends with benefits? Yes. If a relationship ever came along, I don't know how I would deal with it. If that came along where I could fall for somebody deeply and move in with them, who knows? One of the things though is, again, through my lifestyle, also having to grow up quite quickly at a young age, I do prefer older gentlemen. I don't find people my age and younger, sometimes they're a bit immature. Their idea of a fun night is just going out getting pissed as quickly as possible. That's not my idea of fun. So who knows? But I'll upload this, see what... Oh, it's just come on. This is it. I'm queer, I'm gay, I'm homosexual, I'm a puff, I'm a pufter, I'm a ponce, I'm a bum boy, baddie boy, you sort of gather. But that's it. So I think I'll post this up, see what sort of response I get to this one. Who knows? Probably, once I get used to it, probably once a week I'll post something with some thoughts and some discussions and see how we go from there. Right, thank you again. Bye for now.